Today I'm going to make the breakfast bacon and maple meatballs. It's another recipe that I got off of paleoomg.com, a website that I love to get recipes off of because they're all super simple. The first thing that we have to do is cook about 5 or 6 strips of bacon that's going to end up going in the meatballs. So I've got my pan going, got my bacon over here. We're going to throw 5 or 6 strips in there and let it sizzle. I find that it's a good idea to save all your bacon grease. I tend to cook everything that I can, anything that requires fat in bacon grease, because I really like bacon. Hercules is saying hello. So we're going to let this go. Once this is done cooking, we're going to dice up the bacon and make it small chunks so that it fits into meatballs. And then from there, we'll move on to the next steps. I always do the bacon first because it takes the longest to cook. I'm a really big fan of sweet potatoes. As you can see on my counter, I keep a bowl out. I try to eat them almost every carb source. Me personally, I think they're a good carb source. They're low glycemic. They're really easy to cook and easy to prepare. So the next step while my bacon's going is I have to shred a sweet potato. So I'm going to rinse it off, and then I'm going to start shredding. I'll show you how to do that because there's a trick to it. It makes it really fast and efficient. Okay, so this is really a simple thing. Cheese grater, sweet potato. Hold it at an angle and just go at it. They make blenders that you can throw these into and it process them. I do it this way probably because I'm just a cheap bastard and don't want to go buy another blender when I already have the Ninja, which I'm going to end up using when we get on to chopping up the onions. So yeah, you take this, just shred it down. I find that when rotating, it actually makes it go a little bit faster. This is one of those times that if you have kids, it's a great time to get them involved because they can help you cook and you don't have to do this. So there you have it. We have a sweet potato shredded. Nice and simple. Leave this out because I'm going to have to shred another one here when I make my next meal. Because I have to make the bacon today, instead of making just a couple pieces, I'll end up cooking the whole pack and then just making another one of the casseroles that I like so much. No point in cooking just to put it away and pull it out and cook it again the next day. You might as well do it all now and then refrigerate it. So, alright, so we got to preheat to 375. Let that do its thing. Now we're going to peel a yellow onion. Recipe says to use a half an onion. I really like onions, so I'm just going to use the whole thing. Got to peel it, chop it up. If you don't have a Ninja blender, I recommend it. All those little blades in there make everything so that it chops up and dices real easy. It's very, it's an expensive blender. It's like $100, but I've gotten my use out of it probably within the first 5 meals that I cooked. I actually had a half an onion in there for me cooking the day before yesterday, so I'm going to just use the half an onion I had. I cut it up already so that it blends a little easier. That's it. Well, and you just add it to your sweet potatoes. Now the recipe also called for diced mushrooms. I have the Baby Bella sliced. I'm going to use probably, I don't know, half of this, maybe all of this container. Let's see. Screw it, we'll use all of it. I used to really not like mushrooms at all. Lately I've found that depending on how they're cooked, I enjoy them quite a bit. Now we have our diced mushroom. Gonna add it in with this. Alright, so next it wants me to add in all my seasonings and stuff. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of maple syrup and then 1 of agave nectar, even though it says to use 2 of maple. I like the agave, so there's no sugar in it. Make sure that your syrup you get is going to be all natural. You don't want any high fructose corn syrup or any of that other garbage that comes in those syrups that are no good for you. Recipe also calls for a minced garlic at a ½ teaspoon, which is 1 clove. Get that in there. The recipe also says salt and pepper to taste, so I'm going to do a teaspoon of each. Now, I'm not a big fan of salt. It is an essential mineral. We do need it, but too much salt is not good for you. It's high blood pressure and all that other good fun stuff. So there's that, and then all we got to do now is add a pound of sausage. Alright, I've gone ahead and thrown my sausage in there. When you buy your sausage, you want to make sure that you get one that has no sugar added. They are hard to find, but you can find them. The next step is to break your bacon down. I find that the more you cook the bacon, the easier it is to break it, which is going to be important because it's supposed to be diced, so you want it basically to just crumble apart into your little bowl of mess. Alright, so now that we've got everything in here, I've added a couple more slices of bacon. I did it off the camera, whatever. Now you just got to mix everything up. Sucks sticking your hands in cold sausage. Oh. Try to keep it in your mixing bowl so we don't have to clean up. I obviously can't do that as it falls on the floor. There, now that it's all mixed up, you're going to roll it into balls, put it on plates, and then throw it in the oven. You're going to bake it for about 30 to 35 minutes. Alright, so there's my meatballs. I obviously make really big meatballs. I'm going to be using these more as a meal and less as a snack. So I make them relatively big. They're going to go in here for 30 to 35 minutes. That's what it says on the recipe, but because I've got the meatballs at the size they're at, I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes. We'll go 35 and then check it. And there's the finished product. Yay, meatballs. Those look really yummy.